The collective, greetings, friends. We are very pleased to have this time to speak with everyone today. We're looking at the beautiful lyrics in this song Blackbird, which may be a little bit contradictory. Because we hear that the blackbird is singing in the dead of night. Now, generally birds don't choose the dead of night to sing. Generally, they don't fly with broken wings. And generally, one doesn't see light in the dark black night. And so, there are these beautiful juxtapositions that one doesn't necessarily know what to do with. And yet yes, you do. We would say, in your soul journey, you have many times been in a situation where you thought you had no strength, and then some strength came through that you were not expecting. And other times, you thought, I can't see the way forward, and some new form of sight came through that again, you were not expecting was even there. No matter what's happening in your life now, this is your time. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see, or all your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. Now, honestly, for each of you, we understand that when you think of a moment when you will be free, you think of Nizara law being fully enacted and announced. You may think of the old dark power structure being upended on this planet, and you may think, yes. And as our writer will say jokingly, I'll have my shuttlecraft, and my miniature pony to keep me company. And I'll be zipping around the world. And I'll just hover above Paris and wander the streets of Paris and enjoy the cafes, and just enjoy life. All this is completely wonderful. But there's a step or two that is missing. And that is the fact that what very often, dear ones, what the soul is waiting for, is the unexpected. That your soul has been waiting for moments when apparently, there's no reason to sing. Apparently, there's only the darkest, blackest night around you. And yet somehow, your eyes are constantly searching for light. And bizarrely, you find it. And you think, well, maybe it's just my imagination. I'm walking down this dark road. Maybe the car has broken down. Maybe you're finding your way back to a friend's house, and you didn't expect darkness to fall so quickly. You're walking on a dirt road, and it's very dark, and there's no lights, no street lights, no lamps whatsoever, and no lights of nearby houses. And you're having to rely on your instinct, and maybe a little bit of light on the road in front of you from your phone, or a little flashlight. And you're looking around, and you're thinking, why is it so dark? And then the clouds clear. And bizarrely, that light that is always there in the sky, whether it's easy to spot it or not, will show up. And that is your beautiful moon. And then some stars decide to come out. And you have this lovely moment all over again, as you had as a child, when you realize, if it weren't so dark, I wouldn't notice the stars. I wouldn't appreciate the moon. I wouldn't be in awe of its beauty. I wouldn't know that it can light up the road in front of me. I would have been waiting for the sun this whole time. I'd have been stumbling along, cursing my luck and feeling quite abandoned by life, and lo and behold, there's light when I didn't expect it. And when these dear ones Paul McCartney and the other Beatles were singing this song that McCartney had written, and they're singing, into the light of the dark black night, or Blackbird, fly. This is just very, very strange to the logical mind. But maybe the song, just as your soul, is shifting you out of left brain logic. Everything you've been taught, everything you've told about what to celebrate and what to feel dreadful about, everything you've been told about, oh, this person is really, they're emancipated. They're free. They're powerful. They're in their strength and their power, and they're speaking their truth and their authenticity. Versus this person is utterly a prisoner. They're stuck, and they're in the worst sort of situation, and they have very little hope. All of those absolutes suddenly begin to melt. And you come to the realization that your soul is not interested in only handing you really lovely moments where everything is going beautifully. Nor were you interested in doing that as your higher aspect, before you incarnated. And what's interesting, are these moments when you declare your freedom, you declare your strength, you declare your empowerment, when the whole rest of the world would say, you haven't got any. You're in a very dark night. What do you mean, you see light? And how can you possibly have been waiting for this particular, apparently very difficult, very dark moment, to declare your freedom. We just want to say, dear ones, strange as that is, that's the sort of soul that you, as light bearers, that's the sort of soul that you have. They're not interested in outer appearance. They're not interested in winners and losers. They're not interested in who won the battle or the war. They're interested in how you are progressing on a soul level, not despite what you're going through, but because of it. And that's the nub of it. And we would say, for all light bearers now, looking out upon a world in which there is war and division and hatred and suspicion, and xenophobia, misogyny and racism, and on and on and on again, we would say, quoting song lyrics, all your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. And it's nobody's fault, nobody's terrible evil, necessarily. All of you have created every moment together. You always have. You always will. All of you come from the light. Even the darkest creature has that pinpoint of light within them, which they dare not admit to, and they've got no interest in, and yet, it's still there. And that is because they are a part of creation. Not because they are special and wonderful and treat everyone perfectly. They well may be stumbling. But they are being given the choice now, as are all entities, embodied or not embodied, on the earth or not, to step into the light, as not only this planet, but this universe, ascends. You are moving from 3D to 5D. And you will hear Ashta command White Knight Lord Rama and his contacts comment, there's a bit of an overlap. Chuckling, some days you feel empowered. You can't believe the beauty of the world. Other days, you feel drawn down. Because you are still healing centuries of trauma that you have been through over and over and again, coming back to earth again and again, wanting to just heal. Wanting to be free of that which you have suffered in the past. And you may feel like, well, do we ever get off of this, as our writer says, this hamster wheel? Yes, you do. Most assuredly, you do. And this would be your first step. You look yourself in the eye, there in the mirror, and affirm, all your life, you were only waiting for this moment to be free. And so, we are flowing a lot of higher light to each of you, on a heart level. And some of you are a bit under the weather physically, maybe going through something tough emotionally. Wrestling with things that have occurred, that make no sense, that you can't ever seem to be free of. And we're just giving that extra support right now, that extra light, that you allow yourself to rise up. And release this idea that you have to be strong all the time. That you have to smile all the time, that you have to be perfect. That you have to be this lovely, high-toned spiritual sort that always does everything right. Just forget that. Release it. Because it is still being determined what that spirituality means on this planet. But we would say, all your great teachers have encouraged love. All your great teachers have encouraged self-acceptance, as well as acceptance of another. And the funny, strange, yet incredibly wonderful point that as you release judgment of others, you let yourself off the hook as well. Wonderful, dear ones, flowing more light, encouraging light from the soul coming down through that crown chakra for each of you. Wonderful. We would like each of you to say, if you can, to yourself, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. And then use the I am, and I was, only waiting for this moment to arise. And so it is. We send much love, dear ones. More than we can say. Honored as always to assist on your paths. Namaste.